is Reconnect with Rockers, and Dale Stewart from Seether right there. You probably don't remember. We hooked up and had a great chat a couple years ago when you guys did the Wellmont Theater here in New Jersey. And I am so excited that we have new Seether music coming. You know, I will tell you, during this quarantine, just knowing that there is light at the end of the tunnel for people, and we still have bands that have records that are going to be coming out, I think has been such just a great mental feeling for people, for rock fans. Vis Pacem Para Bellum. Did I do well? Is that it?
Yeah, I think you did well.
Yay! If you want peace, prepare for war is the name of the new record. First of all, want to start with you, bass player and founding member of the band. When I looked back and I was like, wow, Seether, a band for 20 blop years? Like, it is almost impossible to believe that you guys have been together and doing it for such a long time. Feel like 20 for you, or feel like 2 for you, or feel like 200 for you?
It's weird. In some respects, it feels like it's gone incredibly quickly. And in other respects, it feels like a really long time. So it's like a bit of both. We've done so much and been to so many different places, met so many different people, and it feels like enough for a couple lifetimes. But at the same time, it's like I just blinked, and here we are. It's 2020, and it's crazy. Like I don't know where the time went.
I know. And I feel like, there are days where I feel like I've been playing Seether records and they're such a big part of the fiber of the station. And then when I get a new Seether record, it always feels brand new to me. So it's definitely, you definitely get that yin and the yang. Well, you guys are what I love to call a radio band, and we love radio bands. I mean, radio bands are bands that just are about the songs. Everything is very song driven with you guys. I think there's been 15 or more than 15 #1 rock radio songs. I mean, that is huge for a band. Now, I've heard that this record, I was reading something about it, it said a mix of euphoria and misery. And I thought, you know what? That kind of really is like the Seether catalog, though, for me. Because I hear that in a lot of the music. It's very much the dark and the light. You hear it in Words with Weapons and Betray and Degrade and the new single Dangerous. And then you go to something like Country Song and Rise Above This. And you get sort of that dark and light. Is that something that just sort of developed with the band over the years, where that's sort of, I think, a kind of a signature sound for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. Music is kind of a therapeutic thing, I think. So, a lot of the music, I guess, does come from kind of a dark place, because it is, dealing with those kind of emotions and problems and things. Music's the best way to get that out of your system, so that you can, focus on the good stuff in your sort of personal life or in your own time. So yeah, music, for me, absolutely, whether it's playing music or even listening to music, if you're mad, you'll put on this kind of song. If you're sad, you'll put on that kind of song. And, but it really helps, I think it helps to know that you're not the only one going through something like that. There's someone else out there, they got through it, maybe I can do the same, whatever the case may be. But, lyrically too, Sean, it's very much a diary for him. So
yeah,
if there's something dark or bad going on, that makes it into a song. And so a lot of it is quite dark, but like I said, at the same time, we've always thought that melody and just the song itself is very important, and so we always try to have that sense of melody, even if it is dark or heavy. We never want that to be at the sort of peril of the the peril of the melody of the song. We like to always make sure that that's pretty solid.
Yeah, and big songs. I mean, big picture songs that are very visual, I think, for people. And I think that's the, sort of the mark of a great song. If, your mind takes you somewhere and you sort of get these big, vivid picture songs. Dangerous which is the first single that we're getting, you know, from If You Want Peace, Prepare for War, is that kind of a song. It takes you on that journey. It kind of takes you on that ride. So talk to me about that song. You know, I get a feel from the song, and I said to you before we started rolling, I said, you know, I've only heard this song from the record. I get a feeling that is the record going to be kind of a harder record for you? And, you know, I get a feeling from the song that that's maybe the direction that this record's going.
Yeah, it's some pretty heavy stuff on the album, but it's a mix again. You know, there's some sort of more, you know, maybe not middle of the road. I don't want to use that term to describe it, but you know, less angry stuff, let's say. Dangerous is definitely it's a bit of an outlier, I think. I feel like every album we do, there's at least one or two songs that sound a little bit different to the rest. And oftentimes, you know, we end up making those singles because I think it is cool to have a song that's clearly different to, you know, to what's going on, you know, on the radio at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Those little nuggets too, where you get like, you come across, you know, the Rise Above This or whatever, and you're like, oh, this is kind of like this, you know, the snappy little, you know, pop
feel good, yeah.
Pop Seether tune. And I love the video for Dangerous too. You want to talk about going on this journey, this visual journey. So tell me why you guys decided to sort of go that route. You know, obviously you're not going to do a performance piece with the band right now. Everybody's been kind of in lockdown. But tell me a little bit about the video. I want everybody to Google the video. It is so amazingly cool. I mean, just an incredible visual journey, and it fits the song just perfectly.
Yeah, you know, we wanted something a little bit dark because, you know, the song is pretty dark. And like you said, you know, we can't exactly get in a room. You know, it's wearing, you know, it's getting kind of to the end of it now, but back when we were doing it, you know, it was still, you know, very much lockdown. So it was kind of out of necessity that we had to do something a little different. But I think even if we had the option, I can't imagine that song now with a different video. Like you said, say a performance video. I don't think it would be the same. You know.
No, I think it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's a story.
Yeah.
The song is a story, and it definitely, you know, takes us on this journey. So what has it been like for you, you know, kind of being in like this lockdown, you know, rock down, especially I talked to a bunch of artists with records that are coming out. LJ from Seven Dust was on with me. Taylor Momsen was on with me. A couple, Lee and Haley from Pop Evil were on with me.
Okay.
You know, and everybody's got these great records, you know, that they want the public to hear. And then obviously the way that artists do it is they do a record, they do a promotion cycle, they do a touring cycle. Things a little bit different now. So what has it been like for you having sort of this, you know, has it been a reflection time? Has it been a more creativity time to be home and doing something completely different than what you would anticipate that you would do when a record's coming out?
Yeah, it's, you know, maybe a bit of reflection in there. It's frustrating, you know, to have this album that you've, you know, worked really hard on and you're really proud of, and you can't wait for people to hear this thing, and you can't wait to go out there and, you know, play these songs for people. And because that's the real, you can read reviews, you can, you know, talk to people, but when you see how that crowd responds live, you know, that's really the affirmation there, you know, that instant response. So, you know, we'd love to get out there and play these songs, and here we are, just, you know, sitting at home, and we've got this album in the can, and you know, no shows. So yeah, it's frustrating, but you know, it's this too shall pass. You know, we just need to be patient, and, you know, I guess safety first. But I feel like we're getting to the end of the worst is behind us, let's say. So
yeah. Fingers crossed. Fingers
yeah,
crossed. Hope so.
You know,
I mean, and everything kind of came down to in festival season, you know, where bands go out and play these big shows, these big festivals, you know, so festival season. And I keep thinking when everybody is able to get out and go to shows, I mean, I just think everybody's going to be blowing off steam like we've never seen before. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Oh, I also want to bring up Corey Lowry, you know, being in the band for this record and everything. What a tremendous talent that you guys, sort of have now officially in the Seether camp. So talk a little bit about him and his contribution to everything.
Yeah, Corey, he's official.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a, like you said, incredibly talented guy. Not only, in terms of playing, I've always known him as a bass player, but he's a great guitar player too. And, that's obviously what he's doing now for us. But, he's also, he produces bands too himself.
Yeah.
He's a great engineer as well, for Pro Tools and, all the wacky computer stuff that I have no idea how it works. But it's, he wears so many hats, and he's got so many. He's been in this business so long. He's a really talented guy on many fronts. So I think he's a great addition to the Seether team. It's makes recording easier. He really did a lot with our engineer Matt. They went back and forth, and he was helping Matt out, and so it was almost like having two engineers working on the album. And just whether it's coming up with sounds or figuring out a way to, I don't know, do these plugins or whatever was going on at the time. So yeah, and he's a good guy. That's the main thing.
That is the main.
Can you live with this guy on a tour bus?
Absolutely. Can this guy be part of the marriage? Be part of the marriage with all the people in it. You think of him. I always think of him, and you think of all the different things that he does and how well-rounded he is, and the different bands he's been involved with and producing, and like you said, engineering and songwriting and stuff. And then, but the bottom line is, can you live with this dude on a bus or in a bunk or on tour and on stage? And that is, sort of public enemy number one. You got to make sure you live with this guy and he can be part of the family. Plus, the Seether family's been together. You guys didn't start the band 4 years ago. The band has been together a long time. You guys have this synergy, and letting somebody else into the fold. It's like letting somebody else into the family or into your job or into your, it's a very delicate situation. I talk to bands about, producers. People have to realize the producer becomes a member of the band when they have never been in the band before. If they're producing for the first time, it's a really tender, kind of tender situation. So Dale, you've been doing this, Seether's been doing this cool hanging at home with Seether series. And I love that you've been kind of in the kitchen and you've been doing a little cooking. I never knew what biltong was until I saw you cooking up some biltong, which is a South African kind of cured meat and stuff. I will tell you, you look so natural when you're in the kitchen. And I want people, you can go to Seether's social media pages and you can see all the great videos, and whether they're performing or just kind of giving you a little sense of what it's like to be hanging at home with the band. So have you always been kind of a cook or a foodie, or enjoy just kind of relaxing in the kitchen a little bit?
Yeah, I've always been into food and drink and whatnot. The cooking just kind of started, when I was living alone. And you have to kind of take care of yourself.
You got to eat, right?
Yeah, you got to eat. And then it became a case of, I'm going to make a night of it. Let me open a bottle of wine and go to the grocery store, buy a bunch of food, and I'll put on some music in the background, and I'll spend the evening kind of making food and cooking. And, so it was a way to entertain myself when I was just home alone, bored. I used to joke, I used to call it a one-man party, was when... I'd be drinking the wine, making the food, and had the music going, but it's just me.
Yeah, right.
So, that's where it started. And then, I've just kept up with it, over the years, and, try new things and come up with, different recipes that, that I like, or, experiment. If it's something good, I'll make it again. If it's not, I'll, kind of pretend it never happened.
I loved it. I was watching you like slice that meat and then you put it in and I was like, whoa, I mean, this guy, he means business. You weren't like playing around in that kitchen. And you just seem to be really into it. So I love it. And I think people love seeing too, just a little bit of a different side of, I was reading some of the fan comments. Everybody loved it. Everyone's like, oh my God, I love this. Like, people like seeing a little bit of a different side of artists. That's why, I've mentioned it to artists before. We do this Reconnect with Rockers series because a lot of our listeners came to us and said, but you always have bands at the station, but we always hook up with you guys at shows, but you are always interviewing people. Is that going to stop? We don't want that to stop. So we were like, no, we'll figure it out, figure out a way to check some boxes for you and still keep you connected with artists that have great records coming out that we feel are part of the WDHA Rock Radio family. I think that rock radio too is like a family. I mean, I know it sounds kind of corny, but I feel like, you guys have a record coming out. Our listeners want to hear it. We as a radio station want to bring it to them. We all sort of kind of protect each other and figure out ways that in a time when things are done very differently, we can all kind of help each other out. We know the fans want it. The fans are telling us they want it. You guys are more than willing to give up your time and do Zoom videos with us, which is very non-traditional. When I first started doing these Zoom videos, I'm like, what? I'm clicking people on. My head is really big. The dogs are jumping in. It was crazy. But we sort of, we tailor ourselves to, okay, here's what we have to do until we can kind of do it the way that we've done it before. And I think it's, rock radio, whether it's listeners, bands, or stations, are really kind of a community of people, just keep it going,
It is, and, rock radio in general has been so great to us over the years. And we really owe a lot to just, the rock radio family that, as you call it. I think that's a great way to describe it. I really think that's kind of what did it for us, was just, being played on the radio and then, not being scared to get out there and hit the road and tour and go play shows. And, the big radio shows have been great to us and everything. And so I think we owe a lot of where we are today to, people willing to play our songs on the radio and, be cool to us. So, thanks to you and everyone else who's been there and supported us all the way through. It's really cool. It's awesome.
A big part of the New Jersey experience is music.
Hell yeah.
Jersey's Rocktown, and we love you guys. Our listeners are always down for a Seether record. There's not a day that goes by on the air that people aren't calling me for Seether tunes. And I'm so excited that we are going to get, a new record. I know bands aren't really necessarily specific to dates these days, because some people are like, yeah, we're probably going to get it out late summer, early fall. So people aren't really committing. So I'm not going to ask you that. I cannot wait till we get it though.
Okay. And August 28th is the. Is the official
okay.
date.
All right.
As far as I know, I might have just got it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the date. So not long now. Not long. It's
and I can't wait to see you guys in person too. I think it's going to be great when we can actually, reconnect and everybody's kind of face to face and doing the big rock show. And you've always been so generous with your time and with your talents. So thank you so much. Dale Stewart from Seether. We have new Seether music coming in August. And Dangerous, just a killer tune. I'm so happy for you guys. You've really nailed it. I have a feeling this is going to be one of your best records ever.
Thank you very much. We hope so.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Advantage Contracting and by Karis Lock Company.